Hey everyone, welcome back to the IHC Craft Room. Today is live number 8 of the fabulous fall series, and we're going to be making a rustic burlap pumpkin wreath with this wreath form that I got at the Dollar Tree, and burlap I got from Dollarama, faux flowers from probably both places because I have a whole bunch, and a whole bunch of ribbon where we're going to be making a nice messy bow, which sits really lovely on top of pumpkins. I made one recently and I like the way it looks, so we're going to do the same thing. But I decided to add a little bit of pink into this burlap equation because I don't know if you're new here. If you are, hi, I'm Mary, and I love me some pink. So we're going to put some pink in this pumpkin. Let's get started because we've got quite a few steps to do. Now, I think because I love this gorgeous burlap, it was $5 at Dollarama. And let me tell you, that hurts my heart in a way I can't begin to tell you. I am a very tight-fisted lady. So $5 for a piece of burlap was offensive. But it's so pretty and there's quite a bit of it. So I think it's going to be fine. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to use this foam board cutout of the pumpkin form, which I made earlier. I made this yesterday so that you didn't have to watch me struggle through it. And I mean, it's not perfect, but it's good enough. I just want to be able to fully glue the frame down to the board. And basically, we're going to cover this board in the burlap, and then we're going to cover all of these bones of the sections. We're going to cover them in this jute rope, and it's going to look killer. I am super excited. So let's get started. You can scoot. Thanks so much. We are going to start by putting this burlap on here, and I think what I'm going to use today is Mod Podge. I had misplaced my Mod Podge for a while. And all of the projects that I did where I was using burlap, I was using paste like glue, like Elmer's glue. And I thought it was taking a while for it to dry. And in some cases, it didn't dry well at all. So I really don't want to use that glue anymore. Look at how much came in here. Okay, see, $5 is kind of worth it when there's this much. This is a lot. This is quite a lot. Actually, it must say something on here on the little. How big are you? 42 inches by 2 yards. Oh yeah, that's quite a lot for $5. That's some good stuff. All right, good. I'm pleased with that. So let me open this up. It's definitely going to have some folds in it, and it might not be super duper smooth, and I don't particularly care. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people who, gee, this is a lot. I almost was like, I don't even know what to do with all of this. Holy, this is seriously a lot. Okay. Wow. It's an overwhelming amount of burlap. I feel like I'm being attacked. Send help. Okay. So I'm going to do a rough cut because I'm basically going to be chased out of my house by this burlap at this point. I definitely want it to overlap the edge. I made the mistake of cutting a little too conservatively in the past, and I regretted it deeply. So we're going to cut down from this corner over here. And you know what else? Other than the fact that it's a beautiful pattern and that there's so much of it, it's a lovely weave. It's thin, like I can see through it almost, but it's lovely. It's got a good, it's not too, what's the word I want? You know when they fray a lot? They're fraying. There's not a lot of fraying because it's just a nice weave. Okay, everybody try to control yourself, okay? I'm going to cut you. It's going to be fine. And then you'll go hide in the corner and we'll use you another day, okay? Everybody chill. I think at this fold we should be fine. I know you can't see me right now, but don't worry. I'm about to cut my way onto the screen in a second. Here I come. Before I go any further, let me just make 100% sure. Okay, good. Because if I cut it too short, I would have been upset, as I already mentioned multiple times. So these are kitchen shears that I'm using. I use them a lot, and I highly recommend them. They're probably about $5 at the dollar store, but they are great. All right, I have enough to wrap my house in this. I don't know. There's so much. It's great. I'm thrilled. I'm going to be able to do so many projects with this. Ski-daddle, please. All right. Now, there is no top or bottom of this burlap. It's all the same pattern, but definitely a good side versus bad side. So good side facing down. It's the same kind of rule we follow for making ribbon bows and wreaths, because good side, bad side does matter. So this is pretty good to me. I mean, yeah, it's not quite perfect. I wonder if I flip it over. Look at how many times I tried. I struggled so hard. But it really does help having the foam board. Like, it really does. It makes it, I mean, you could totally glue the material straight to the frame. You know, there's lots of ways to do this. This is the only way I've been doing it lately because I like it. But I mean, this is another great way. I could have just like glued it like here, you know, maybe another time. Not today. Okay, girl. We're going to be using this guy. I just want to make sure of one thing, since there is all of those marks on that side and you can kind of see through it. Oh, you can see through it. Okay, good to know. So bad side, here we go. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use my Mod Podge to basically glue this on, like by painting it. I'm going to cut around it. I don't know if I should cut around it now. I think I'll cut around it now. Let me give you a good shake. Okay. Okay. I'd say that's good. All right, we'll start from here then. One about like, okay, say like an inch. Now, you could probably, it would be good if I could put something on top of you. There. You could probably glue this down with all of the excess still on it without cutting it out first, and then cut it off after you've glued it on. I've done that more than once. I don't find it as tidy. I just need to make sure I have enough to go over. Now, keep in mind, because I'm using foam here, a foam board, and it's white, and this is kind of see-through, we're probably going to see a little bit of white come through behind the burlap. I don't particularly care about that. I don't think it's going to be that noticeable. And if it is noticeable, again, I don't really care about that. But if you do, then I would recommend painting the foam board and letting it dry really well before you do this. You could paint it like a brown, a taupe. That would work very well. Can you get out of here? That'd be good. You know, I could use this for part of the bow. There's so much of it. But no, I don't need that. I actually have a burlap bow with dots on it. I don't know if you saw it when I had them laid out over here. I've had that ribbon for a while. I love when that happens. There's lots of things that I've had for a while, and then I'm like, okay, how can I use this? Or what project would this work for? That's good. I'm getting a little closer and closer as I continue. Instead of making it an inch. It's still plenty though. All right, we did it. Oh, this is going to be too much over here. Wonderful. We are done ski. So let's get this out of here. I'm covered in this stuff. Burlap is very, I don't know the word that is the actual word, but the word I'm going to use is fibrous. Fibrous. It's full of fibers. So it kind of like has all these little flyaways and things that make your nose itchy. Okay, so I'm just going to lay a little bit of, oh, wait. Why am I doing that? I actually should have glued the other side first, but now that I'm thinking about it, do I even need to put glue on the other side? I guess I don't really. Yeah, but it won't be as smooth, will it? I don't know. Do we want to try? We want to try doing it without putting glue on the other side? I don't think I want to do that. So this is a whole bunch of waste because now I need to get you off of here so I can flip you over. That's unfortunate. No, what are you going to do? I make mistakes all the time. Literally all the time. See, there's another mistake. Everything's fine. Everybody's fine. Everybody relax. It's fine. Everything's great. Let me scoot you off to the side. What we're going to do is I'm going to actually paint some Mod Podge onto it and then slap it on top of the burlap and smooth it out. That's the plan, which apparently I forgot about and started going all rogue. But I think this is smarter. Now, could we have done what I just did by accident? Like, could we have, just put Mod Podge on the other side and pull the material taut across this? I'm sure we could. I just don't want to. I feel like we're asking for trouble, Okay, so I'm going to go. Where was that dip? Is it here? I didn't really make a big dip. Okay, I think it's going to be here. Okay, so we're going to start. Yeah, I thought that was going to happen. I'm going to get a rubber glove on my hand just because I don't want to get stickified. So you can definitely see the white of the foam board coming through. So if that's, again, something that bugs you, I would absolutely paint it a different color. Or you could use cardboard, which is already this color. Oh my God, that would be like the perfect solution. Then you don't have to waste your time painting anything. Yeah, recommend cardboard. You just want something that has a little bit of substance to it so that it'll be easier to attach it to the frame of the pumpkin. I should put this other glove on too. I'm constantly trying different ways to do these things. They're not necessarily the right way. I'm not even sure that it'll work half the time. So, we try. So this has a natural fold in it from the way it was sold in the store. I guess I could have probably leveled it out a bit using something like I don't know, like a hair dryer or a hair straightener or an iron or like maybe like a Cricut hot press, something like that. That would probably work. Those little ones that they have for hats and small things. But I'm not worried about it. If it stays a little folded in the center, c'est la vie. I'm not looking for perfection over here. I'm just trying to have a good time. I'm here for a good time, not a long time. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, move. So, I think that Mod Podge is going to dry much more clearly than that paste was drying. So even though we're seeing a couple of these streaks come through, I have faith that it's going to settle down once it dries. And if it doesn't, well, guess what? Nobody died. Everything's fine. It's just a pumpkin. All right, not bad. Considering there was that big fold there, can't really see it anymore, can you? I actually like that there's this white behind it because it's kind of made this a lot brighter, which was unexpected. I kind of feel like I might have missed a little spot with glue here, but that's okay. Now I'm going to flip you over and do what we started off doing incorrectly and at the wrong time. And by we, I mean me. So I'm going to do the fold over now. This is fun. I find crafting fun. If you don't, why are you doing it? I am going to be very interested to see if this is going to actually hold. I don't think it will, frankly. I might need clips, but I don't have any around. What could I put on top of you? But then it's going to glue down because there's glue over top. What do I have that is useful in this situation? A little bit of patience. I think I just need to go slower because it does eventually catch. Now, you might be wondering why I'm not using hot glue, and it just comes down to the fact that this is foam. And every time I've used hot glue on foam, it basically like curdles, which is not that big of a deal if it can't be seen from the front. But I'm not really sure if it'll be seen from the front. So, oh wait, I should spread that out a bit. So we're going to be a little patient. You know what's funny? I have a bunch of art stones in my craft room. I make art stones fairly often. I haven't done one actually in a while now that I'm saying that. Might have to change that. And I love using art stones. They're great for paperweights. I use them all the time. And I often forget I'm going to need them. And then they're far away and I can't reach them. So they look really pretty on my shelf. Not super helpful at the moment. Okay, that was an excessive amount there. That's like chill. I'm going to be making these little folds as I go around the curve, which I'm probably going to come back and put a little bit of, can I just put it in between you guys? I made a mess. It's on the table. I keep looking at it every time I drop my paintbrush and it irks me. I have a wet wipe over here and I'm going to clean it up, but it still bugs me. Yeah, there's going to be a few of these little burlap folds in here. Yeah, that's working great. Okay, a little patience, that's all. A little patience. I really enjoy Mod Podge. I enjoy its versatility. Mind you, they have several different types of Mod Podge. This is matte, I believe. But they also have Mod Podge for like, oh my God, so many things. Oh, if you ever have like one of those gorgeous puzzles and you want to put it in place, Mod Podge, slap that right on there. Slap that right on there. And boy, oh boy, it's going to do a great job. And it's specific. They have a specific one for that. They have a specific one for also transfer, image transfer. And when I saw that, I was like, well, that's interesting. I would like to do an image transfer, but you need a laser jet printer for that. And that's not what I have. Most people don't have a laser jet printer at home. We normally just have an inkjet or something. Assuming you even have a printer. I mean, I guess some people don't. Okay, enough out of you. I'm probably going to have to cut a little slit right here at that center point. That's enough. So these pumpkin frames are hard to find, in my opinion. In the last couple of years, it's been hard to find specialty wire wreath frame bases at the dollar store. Oh, see, I'm getting close here. I could have gone a little further. There's more here. That's unfortunate. But as long as it holds, it's fine. Yeah, as I was saying, they're hard to find. So like I have some frames from the past that I've found, and anytime you find them, you got to jump on top of them and buy them. Like I found these pumpkin frames this year. It was the first time I'd seen them in years. So I bought like 3 or 4 of them. And that's why we're making so many pumpkin wreaths this year, because I've never done it before. And this is why they're all new to me, because I've never used this kind of frame before. So I'm kind of like learning as I go. Yeah, I think I'm going to put a little slit right here. Not too far. Okay, now I can't leave that like that because now it's going to dry it. Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you. There. And now the fastidious part of me feels much better. So yeah, I'm trying different ways to use these pumpkin forms, which I'm super jazzed that I found. I've been trying to find a cross-shaped one for the longest time. I only had one frame, and I used it to make a beautiful cross-shaped wreath for my mother-in-law's grave. And it stayed there very happily for some time. I even redid it a couple times. But then, unfortunately, cemeteries have rules that they don't necessarily explain super well. And they took my cross. But more importantly, they took the frame. And I tried to get it back. I even contacted them and I was like, please give me my frame back, please. And they were like, nay. Nay, young lady, nay. I was like, fine, you guys are the worst. So I don't have a cross frame anymore. And they are not easy to find. I've definitely not found them at all in dollar stores. I'm going to cut this a little more, but I'm a little nervous about it because the fraying is for real. But I can't get up into the corner unless I do that. I think that should be okay. Let's hope it doesn't fray. Well, it doesn't matter. This part's going to be really covered because we'll have our messy bow over top as well. So it'll be fine. Sometimes I forget about that. There's so many ways to cover up things, by the way. So if you ever find yourself in a situation where you're like, oh no, that's going to look terrible, don't stress about it. We'll find a way to cover it. We could put a flower on it. We could put a bow on it. There's so many ways. Just chill. Chill, girlfriend. So yeah, I'm super disappointed about the cross frame, and I've been trying to find one ever since. They didn't have any at the Dollar Trees in Ontario that I went to this past Easter 2026. So fingers crossed that they bust them out in the coming months, maybe for Christmas. Who knows? But anyway, yeah, but I do have a lot of other shapes though. I've been lucky over the years to find them. But like I said, lately, they don't have them anymore. I'm lucky I have them in my repertoire. But they don't sell them fresh in the wild anymore. At least not that I've seen, which is a bummer because there's some really cool shapes. Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably buy them. There's definitely, a lot of craft stores that are, maybe not a lot, but there's got to be, that are really focused on wreath making, where they sell like kits and stuff. I'm pretty sure I've seen some creators on YouTube who have like affiliate deals with these people, and they use their kits on their channels and hopefully get some sort of commission for promoting them, because that's how that works usually. But I try to get all my stuff at like the dollar store if I can. So I couldn't even tell you where you could get a kit like that, but they do exist. They definitely do. But I actually really enjoy coming up with all of the pieces that I'm going to put on my wreath by myself. You know what I mean? Instead of buying a wreath kit where they're like, hey, this is what this is going to look like. Here are all the pieces that you need. Just put them together. I mean, that's good too. By all means, go for it. But I don't find that as fun, personally. I like the idea of being like, oh, okay, what ribbon do I have that would go with this? And what do I want to put on it? Like, are we going to put like baby pumpkins? Are we going to put acorns? Are we going to put nothing? Like, what am I going to do? And I enjoy that. I especially love when they start each of the seasons at the dollar store. Because right now I'm waiting. We're in August. It's end of August right now. So kids are getting ready to go back to school in Ontario, Canada, which is where I live. And we're starting to feel a little chill in the air. So fall is definitely approacheth. And because of that, I'm constantly showing up at my dollar stores like, hey, does anybody have any floopy skeletons yet? No? Okay. So they are starting to get like Halloween stuff, but it's minimal. But that's the part that I love about like the season change at the dollar store is like you can walk in and as soon as they start bringing in their different seasonal things, you can totally just walk through the aisle and pluck things that work with each other. You know what I mean? Oh, this would look really good with that. And this ribbon would work with this. And oh, look at these little spiders. And there's a ball of googly eyes over here. So it's really, to me, that's fun. Like putting those things all together and deciding what's going to look cool. And, you know, that's one of the most fun things about having my YouTube channel is that I'm always trying to come up with new easy projects that are beginner friendly because that's the way I like to do them. And that you can get the vast majority of the materials at your local dollar store because I'm cheap. But even outside of the fact that I'm cheap, like I like doing this and it gets expensive. So if you like making things like this, then, you know, if you can save a couple bucks by buying something at the dollar store and making it look beautiful, like how silly would you be not to do it, you know? Well, I mean, I'm sure lots of people don't like buying stuff from the dollar store, but they ain't no friends of mine. All right, we are doing super well. I might have to go back and hit up some of these little folds that I have just to make sure that it stays in place. I'm really interested to see when I flip this over if those little patches of Mod Podge that were kind of sticking out before, if they're going to be still visible or if they will have dried. Spoop. Okay, we're going to hold these guys down a little bit. Oh, no, you don't want to. Are you being a jerko? That's all right. I deal with jerks all the time. Ain't no fun but a chicken wing. All right. Now, do you need to be this fussy? No. Also, if you don't like the way this looks, especially if you're going to be selling this or gifting this to somebody, grab another piece of the same burlap and cut out and stick it on and cover it up and you're good to go. Absolutely. If it concerns you, do something about it. I personally don't care how the back of my wreaths look as long as they're not, you know, crazy and so much so that they're adding like width or depth to my wreath, and I don't want it sticking out too much because I have a storm door on my on my front door, and which apparently is like not cool anymore. People don't have storm doors on their doors. Whatevs. I love having a storm door, and that means I want to make it be able to close that door over my wreath, so it needs to be able to sit well between those two doors and my front door. There's a little insight into the life of the Marister. All right, guys. We did it. We did it. I have a little cup of water so that my paintbrush doesn't give up the ghost because it's stuck with Mod Podge. All right, guys, here we go. Let's see if the other side has dried or not. Cross your fingers. Oh, yeah, I think it mostly has. I see a little bit there still. But not bad. That looks really good. Okay, great. Bueno. I don't think I need these gloves anymore. Thank God. I hate gloves. But I also hate having dirty hands because I'm a princess. So, you know, one or the other, pick and choose. So we have a couple more things we need to do. So first of all, I think I'm going to get the burlap or the jute. See how cool this is going to look? Get out of here. That's going to look so good. Okay. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to set this off to the side and let it dry some more. And we're going to start gluing the jute rope onto the frame. Now, the last time I did this, let's see how my battery is doing. Okay, we're good. The last time I did this, I glued the actual jute directly onto, oh, almost knocked my Mod Podge onto the floor, directly onto each of these, straight up and down. So like that. But I'm wondering if I want to do a wrap instead. Well, would I like that? Let's see. It's definitely different. And I kind of want it to be, I always like to make them all a little bit different from each other. I think we might do the twist. I like it. It's just going to be a little bit hard to figure out how much I need based on this. So it's going to be a challenge. How would I find that out? Oh, you're just unraveling too. That's not good. Maybe I could do my small jute cord instead of, yeah, but that'll take way longer. This is annoying, this noise that it's making, the frame. Like, chill out, bro. You're annoying me. What can I use to hold this down? Let's try a pipe cleaner. Because this thing is unraveling at the end here. Oh. Okay, come here. I'm going to tie you to the edge. Just stay there and be nice. Okay, thanks. Yeah, I really do like the way that looks. I think that's really cute. Problem is going to be figuring out how much of this cord to cut so that I can wrap this whole thing. That's what I'm trying to do with this one. I mean, mind you, they're not all going to be all identical, but they'll be kind of close. This is the problem. Now it's going to be a mess. What do you think? Do you like the way that looks? I think that looks cool. And I'm thinking I probably won't have to do much in terms of glue. What if I don't know how to glue it down, though, if I don't use the glue there. Oh, wow, this is tricky, tricky, tricky. How much more do you think we would need? Okay, so that's option one. Option two is the one we already talked about, which is gluing it straight onto the wire. What I mean by that, let's undo this. Wow, this is really fraying over here. Bro, get your life together. It's like, wow. Okay. Option two is gluing it straight on like this so that it's literally right on top of it, but actually on it, which is what I've done before, and I like that. Another option is to use jute cord instead of rope, which would probably be a lot easier for the wrapping part. Which also looks good, but I feel like this is going to take 75 years of my life, and I don't know that I have that patience today. Okay, so which version of this do you think is going to take the least amount of time? Although I really do like the way that looks too. Well, this would take a year and a half. She said dramatically, but it will take a really long time. So if I'm going to do that, I got to do it with this cord. But frankly, I don't have the patience. I feel like it's going to take a lot of effort and time, and I just don't have the patience. So we're going to go with what I consider the least annoying route, which is I'm going to glue directly onto the frame. And if I'm not mistaken, the last time I did this, keep this from fraying like this. I think I might have to dip the end in Mod Podge or something to kind of hold it tight. I don't know. The last time I did this, I remember saying to myself that I was going to glue the outside frame first and then the spokes. So that's what we're going to be doing. So let me get my finger protectors out because this can get pretty deadly real quick. And we're going to go ahead and glue all the way around the frame first. And while this is a pretty thick rope, man, you really are annoying, bro. I'm going to tie a knot here and see if the rest of it can keep its ish together. Okay? God, you're so extra, though. Rah, 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 rah. Okay. I'll cut that off after. So I'm going to glue. Okay. Now, like I said, this rope is pretty. What did I put underneath you? How about this? I don't want to accidentally glue it to my tabletop. No, I'm not going to. Why would I do that? That's not what I need. I need this. A little bit of parchment paper. That's what we need. All right, good. So I'm going to go ahead and put the glue directly on the frame, which is why we need the parchment paper, so that it can catch all the drips, all the drippity drips. And where did I put my finger protectors? Over here. Get over here. Protect mine fingers. Basically, I just want to make sure that when you look at this from face on, you're not seeing the black frame of my frame. That is the ideal scenario, is that you don't see it. But if you do a little bit, I'm over it already. If it bothers you, then you could either do the other method I showed you, which is wrapping it all the way around, which would look really good, but would take longer, and you need to figure out how to cut your rope and stuff, and it would be a whole thing. Or you could try doing it this way. All of this hot glue spider web business gets on my last nerve. And if you've ever worked with hot glue, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. All these little strings that come off of it. Manaya. I shake my fist at you. So you can see I'm doing one little section at a time. There's a couple of reasons for that. The first is I am not very good at staying on top of it, and I would probably lose the right spot because there'd be too much of it to do at one time, and I'd miss out on what I'm trying to cover. So a little bit at a time gives me the opportunity to be more precise and more focused on what I'm doing. Secondly, when you're using hot glue, I haven't said this yet, always be careful. It's crazy hot, man. It should be called lava glue. It's crazy hot. I've burned myself so many times. I'm so traumatized by it that I talk about it in every video. But it's true, so please be careful. And this is why finger protectors are such a big deal to me, and I use them all the time. Hot glue is a crazy little paradox, in my opinion, because it's so hot and it can burn so quickly, and it feels like it's going to be molten lava forever, and then all of a sudden it's just dry. So you can use a large amount and probably get away with it, but if you're using small amounts like we are right now, they dry really fast, surprisingly. And then you end up with glue that's not sticking to your frame, and you've just wasted your time. So, you know, a little bit at a time is the best way to go, in my opinion. So let us begin the end piece here. And even though I am trying to be really careful about staying on the rib of the frame, I mean, it's not easy. Also, I am not somebody who's overly concerned if you can see hot glue sticking out a little bit. If you look at my wreath and go, oh, I see some hot glue over there, I'm going to be like, well, yeah. As I've said in the past, these wreaths, they're not native in the wild. Like, we make them. We make them out of stuff. So if you see glue, well, I mean, is that surprising to you? I'm not saying you want your whole thing covered in glue, but I mean, a little bit of glue peeking out. Chill out. It's like, again, crafting, not that deep. Not that deep. Okay, we're still doing good on the battery. I have a couple more of these pumpkin projects planned out for the next series that I'm going to kick off soon, which is my Thrifty Thanksgiving series. That'll be once we complete the fall series. So I have a couple more ways I'm planning to try making these pumpkins. I'm excited about it. It's always fun to see different ways that you can use the same materials, you know? A little bit of creativity. Okay, I'm going to have to break this thing now because, like, how are you going to get out of there? Oh, good. Let's pretend I broke it. Raw, I'm the Hulk. Yeah, that's me. Very strong. Okay. That's a bit too much. I hope it doesn't dry too fast. Why don't I have one on that finger? I'm going to put one on. Hello there, Tony. Welcome. Happy Saturday to you. All right. Yeah, definitely this burlap, this parchment paper was the right call because I would have stuck this pumpkin to my table 6 times by now. All right, we're almost done the outer frame. And then we're going to do the ribs. I don't know what to call those. I've called them 14 different things at this point. These, the spokes. That's how I described them to my husband the first time I was talking to him about this project. I'm like, there's, the spokes. And he's like, the spokes. I'm like, yeah, like if it was a bike wheel. I guess it's ribs, sections. I don't know. Tell me what you guys think in the chat. What would you call these dividing section bones things, whatever? Again, I'm introducing fingers that don't have finger protectors. Why? Why, Mary? Oh. Parchment paper is so awesome for this kind of thing because not much sticks to it. It's easily removable and super convenient. I use it a lot, actually. It's definitely one of the top few tools in my craft room. All right, we are coming up on the end. I wonder if I'm going to tie another knot on the end of that one too and then figure out how to glue them down after. Oh. Try to bring it up. Oh, right up to it. Why did you move like that? Okay. Okay, should I try to knot this one as well? Well, I'm going to have to glue them, so, get it together. I'm going to glue this one down, I think. So let's try to cut it right about there. Not an easy feat. 45 years later. Almost through. Yeah. Okay. This needs to get glued down as fast as possible so it doesn't start to fray on me. Get in there. You get in there, pal. Now, keep in mind, there's going to be a bow over here. So even if this turns out messy, no one's going to care. Especially not me. And this is what we try to always do. Try to remember to place seams or, you know, I don't know, mostly seams. If you can avoid it, place them in places where you know you're going to cover them up with something that just makes your life easier. Where did all this glue come from? All up in my finger like that. All right. Should I cut this one too now? Yeah, I might as well. There's no point in having this knot over here. And then we're going to go ahead and do the ribs, the spokes, the sections, whatever. Did we decide what we're calling them? The things. Not easy, my friend. Come on. Un poquito. Jeez. So needy. All right, we got our frame done. Now let's get that boning in place. How are we doing? 2 bars will do me just fine. Thank you. Okay, we're going to start over here. And remembering what we're planning on putting, I'm going to put a ribbon bow over here. And down here, I'm thinking of probably doing a little bit of flowers. So I want to be careful that we don't fray this any worse than it's already. So I'm going to start and put it right up against the one we just finished. And we're going to do the same thing, just a section at a time. Where's my parchment paper, you ask? Oh, it's over there in the corner being totally not helpful because I forgot to bring it over here. Now we're going to wait, and then I'll put the parchment paper underneath. It's a major pain in the butt to cut this rope, but I'll tell you, it would be so much easier if it was just a tiny bit thicker, because then I would be able to cover that wireframe more comfortably instead of having to be so concerned to watch it and make sure that I'm not gluing it off to an angle and then you can see the wire. I don't want to see the wire. I wish they'd make these like that taupey colored wire. They have them in 14-inch round wreath frames. Occasionally I can find them. I have a few of them. That would be great if they did that for the pumpkins. I don't know why they always use this dark green or black frame, whatever you call it. Later on, once we're done and everything's kind of like fully dry, I'm going to come back and pull all these extra little pieces of glue that are hanging around, and we'll just clean it up nicely so that you don't see like flyaways and hangers on. See, I almost glued this in the wrong space. And then you would have saw the frame. Okay, good. So we're coming up on the end over here. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it first. Hopefully as close to the edge as possible. This is going to be crazy. I wish there was an easier way to cut this. I feel like, you know, one of those hooks that you use in the garden. But talk about a frayed end you'd get then. Okay. I maybe should have held on to this end instead of that end when I was cutting it. Something to keep in mind for the next one. Let's turn you. That's good. That worked out really nicely. Yeah, definitely outline first and then ribs. I did it the other way on my last pumpkin, and I found it a lot more frustrating. And you could also get a lot of lumps because then your rib goes right down to the frame. So it's a little bit more lumpy. This way you're getting like a nice smooth attachment on either end. Okay. I think we got a rhythm going on. So as long as I can keep these kind of twisted in on themselves, let's get some of these guys over here. Okay, here we go. Uh-huh. Yeah, it would be better if they were just, if the rope was just a little bit thicker, but I think I would cry every time I'd have to cut it then. I mean, it's already a challenge. If I made it thicker, I don't know. It'd be even harder, obviously. Yeah, that looks cool. I don't know if you can tell. I'm putting a super duper thin line of glue, okay? Of course, you could put a little more if you want to. I don't really feel the need. It's enough to hold it in place. And trust me when I tell you it's enough to hold it in place because, again, I make a lot of wreaths and I end up taking apart a lot of my wreaths in order to use the frame again. And I have a lot of pumpkin wreaths planned. So I actually took apart one of my pumpkin wreaths recently. And trust me, when it did not want to part ways with the frame. I had to use my little pliers and pull. So my point is, you don't need to have a ton of hot glue in order for it to hold. It'll hold. As long as you give it a chance to dry, it'll hold. Okay, sorry. Very good. Let me give this a couple seconds to dry before I start cutting the end so that I don't jar it and pull it off by accident, which would be typical. All right. I'm going to go right up to that other jute piece, like right up against it. And then we cut. Oh, didn't I say I was going to hold the other end? I can't, though. What you're supposed to do, I think, is maybe put a piece of Scotch tape and then cut through that. That would probably work really well. But then when you take the Scotch tape off the ends, they're going to be just as frayed. So I don't know. What do I know? Okay. Watch your thumb, lady. Let's see. Okay, you're good. You are bueno. I'm going to hold that down. Beautiful. That looks great. All right, let's keep it moving. We got 4 more to go. Let me have a quick sip of water. And we shall continue. You're a little messy for my taste. Okay. Appreciate you. We begin again. Give that a really good twist. Actually, you could use more of a trim now that I've twisted that. Okay. I think I'm going to lift this. Come here. So I can get right up against. Yeah, that's nice. Come back here. You are being rude to me. It's giving me a little twisteroo. And nobody asked for that, so I'm going to straighten you out. Okay, that's good. This is why. You need a little more give, huh? Okay, there you go. Now contain thine attitude, okay? Wonderful. That's great. I'm seriously asking for trouble. Okay, I just want to give that a second because it seems to be trying to migrate in a direction I don't want it to. So we're going to make you dry before we move on. That's the thing about hot glue. Like I said earlier, you think it's going to stay liquid forever, but it really, when it dries, it's just out of nowhere. All of a sudden it's dry. And you're like, gosh darn it. I wanted to move that. I wanted that to shift over by an inch. Well, you can't. It's going to stay that way forever now. There's no more shifting. You know, as much as I like the look of wrapping this with the jute, remember when we first started and I was trying to decide, should I lay it on top or should we wrap it? I really did like the way that wrapping looked, but this looks really nice too. So I guess it's just a matter of how much time and patience you have. Okay. We're getting close to the top. It's going to be time for another cut on this one. So when I do complete this particular rib here, that's going to take us to the halfway point of completing the base of the wreath. And we're about an hour into this live stream right now, and we've already prepared the background piece, like our foam board wrapped in polka dot burlap. And we're halfway through putting the boning into the wreath frame. So we've gotten really far ahead already, which is great. And we only have a couple steps left. And then we just got to make our bow, which is super, super simple. That is definitely something that I really struggled with when I first started wreath making. I was incredibly insecure about making bows. They just seemed hella intimidating to me. And I mean, trust me, I still see some bows that I'm like, wow, how did you do that? But I was so intimidated by it that I made a mission out of it. And I kind of like went looking online for the easiest bows I could find. How to make easy bows that are still statement bows. And I found, you know, a handful that I use interchangeably, sporadically, you know. Every project is a different bow usually. Ooh, I cut that a little close. That could have gone a little higher, but remember, this is right where we're going to put our bow. So even if I miss a little bit, it's not a big deal. These are the ones I wanted to be really, really good. I think it's still going to cover it, but it could have been a tiny, tiny bit longer. Oh. Who's not wearing my finger protectors? It's me. But I think we're good. So yeah, I found bow making really intimidating. So I learned a bunch of like really simple bows that are really, they contain very few materials to make. Most of them just however many ribbons you want. The one we're going to make today is what I call a messy bow. It is by far the most beginner friendly bow that I know how to make. And in addition to that, it allows you to use up scraps of ribbon that you might have left over from other projects to make a really beautiful bow. So I really enjoy making these bows, which is why we're going to make one today. Okay, don't start getting into knots over here, guys. Let's all be friends, okay? We're on the same team. Don't forget. Okay, I think I'm going to start on this end instead of continuing. We'll meet in the middle. Okay, you're in good shape. This one's not frayed. I wonder why that other piece was so frayed. Did I have to knot it? Must have been the way I ended my last project. I was probably very aggressiva. Scoot, scoot. There we go. We gotcha. Now, if you're just joining us, the reason I keep turning my frame around and around to look is because I want to make sure I'm staying face on with where I'm putting my jute rope so that you really don't see that frame as much as possible. I mean, it might happen a little bit. It's not the end of the world. Don't cry about it. It'll be okay. It'll be okay. Don't cry. All right, we're in good shape here. Let's see. I gotta have a look at my battery. Lady, you are just bound and determined to burn yourself today. That looks great. You see, which finger am I using to tap? Is it the one with the finger protector? No. Oh boy. All right, we got there. Definitely something to be aware of is where the rest of your jute rope is while you're doing this, because it's going to pull. The weight of it is going to pull. So you got to be careful that you're not getting pulled in the wrong direction. So we still have a little ways to go. And then I'm going to go ahead and cut that piece at the bottom. We'll just let this adhere a little bit. What did I just say to you? Stay over there. Okay. Now I want to make sure I cut as close as possible to that top frame now, because this is going to be one of those ones you might be able to see. Okay, I'm thinking this might be right. Perfect. This one's making me work for it very rudely. That's probably because my scissors are sick of this now. They're like, enough, Mare. That's okay. I can make this work, I think. I'm going to give this a little trim. I think that's good. Okay. We got to make sure we get a good amount of glue on there so that that end will stay in place. But not so much that you can see it. It's, oh, I forgot to put my parchment paper underneath. Oh, you see, you're moving on me. Stay. Be good. That looks good. Let me wipe this off before it gets sticky. Thank you. Merci. All right, we got 2 ribs left. Now, this guy's pretty messy. And that makes me unhappy. But, all right. I might put a tiny, tiny bit of glue right there. Solo poquito. Just to kind of encourage them to stay friends. All right, that'll do. We're going to start at the bottom again. We started from the bottom, now we're here. Okay. Oh boy. This is starting to look so cool. You know, I kind of don't like that side's better. Okay. Let us begin. I don't have my finger protectors on, do I? No, let's burn my fingers. Yay, that's a good plan. Dumb girl. But I'm so cute. That worked out beautifully, actually. Staying in place like a champ. Just going to give that a second to grab on real quick. Okay. No, I don't want that there. I'm scared you're going to get glue upon thee in places I don't want it. It's like wiggly. This one's the most wiggly so far. I just love that there's so many ways to do this. So far, I've come up with at least 4 or 5 different ways to decorate this same frame, which is so much fun. The next one I'm going to do, actually, I don't remember what order it's in, but I have a few future plans for pumpkin wreaths for my Thanksgiving series, but I think I'm going to move away from jute And we're going to go to like chunky yarn instead, which would be super fun, I think. I'm really excited about that, actually. That'll be a blast. I mean, if you're having this much fun with jute rope, imagine the fun you'll have with chunky yarn. Oh, it's going to be like a party. Okay, I think you're ready for a cut already. Wow, we flew through that one. That was fast. I kind of basically just put it up against the outer frame and I place my fingernail right there and then we just cut right where my fingernail is. That's very high tech over here in the IHC Craft Room. Look out. All right, let's see. Oh, that is beauty. That's beautiful. Let's get prepared. Okay. That looks great. Just give that a second to latch on. And we're on our last one. And then I'm thinking for the stem, I mean, I could totally do the same thing for the stem if we wanted to, but I like the idea of wrapping the stem instead so that it's like a solid piece. Another option would be to cut a little bit of foam board and make our own stem that goes a little bit higher. And I've seen some people who put like a little fin on it, which is cute. But I think I'm just going to wrap it. I think that'll look just as good. All right. We're in the home stretch. One more left. Now we've got a rhythm going on. So let's see how badly I frayed the bottom of this when I cut that. So I think I'm going to do the same thing I did before, which is where it's frayed, I put just a tiny drop of glue and then give it a twistaroo. That rhymes. And hopefully that'll stay. And we're going to go ahead and put that right here on the bottom. Now, if I hate the way it looks, I'll flip it around and put it at the top because, again, bow. So you won't even see the top of this one. Let's see. Well, that looks good. That's fine. It's stuck just well enough that we can use it. Now, I'm going to remember to I promise you, as soon as this live stream is over, the first thing I'm going to do is untangle this rope because it's going to drive me crazy. But for the time being, as long as I have enough that it's not pulling off of the frame, then that is fine. Okay, I like this side. What is my problem? Come on, glue. The struggle was really real right there. Okay, we got it. The start off is really important because if it gets all willy-nilly at the beginning, I feel like it sets the tone for an unruly piece of rope. Beauty. Doesn't this look so cute? I love it. I love the burlap. To me is just one of those materials that it's kind of like counterintuitive. Because if you touch it, it's rough as like all kinds of stuff. I don't know what I was going to say it was rough as, but it's rough. So it's not like, it shouldn't feel cozy because it's an uncomfortable material. I definitely wouldn't be making myself a burlap pair of pants. You know what I mean? But somehow it still manages to give you that cozy vibe, which I think it's just because at least personally, I don't know about other people, but I personally associate burlap and jute and stuff with, like country chic, like rustic farmhouse kind of vibes, which then makes me think of like the country, and that makes me think of country kitchens, which are cozy. And there we end up at the cozy with the burlap, with the jute and the burlap, which is weird. It shouldn't be cozy, but it is. It really does end up being. I got a little bit of glue on the front here, and I'm not happy about it. It's the only one that got a little bit of glue on the front. Irk me. You're irking me. Okay, should we go ahead and cut it? Not yet. We'll do one more bit. We got to make sure we're getting it from the right angle. Okay, good. All right, we're in the home stretch for this part. Almost done. Now, as I've mentioned multiple times at this point, if this doesn't come out great, it's not the end of the world. Bow's going to be on top. But, I still always try to make it look good anyway, even if it's going to be covered up. Why not? All right. Ooh, I think that's perfect. I think we might have just got it right on the money. Ooh. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Oh, you turned on me a little, hey? I'm going to fix you. This one turned on me a little bit. Figures, the last one is the most unruly. You are very rude. All right. I think we got it under control, though. I think I managed to tame you in the end. Did I? Give that a second to adhere, and then we're going to go ahead and wrap the stem. And then we're done our frame, and we're going to start putting things together. Oh, no, I got to make my bow still. We're going to make the bow, and then we'll put everything together. All right, you can skedaddle. Oh, no, I need a piece of you. I wonder how much that would be. This is not going to be easy because this is thick. Let's say one more. I'm going to cut right around here so I can get this out of here. We'll go ahead and wrap that stem. And I'll try to make sure that the ugliest part is near the base of the stem. So I want to make sure that top gets really well covered, so that if I run out of jute by the end of it, it's not a big deal, because what do we keep saying? We're going to have a bow there. So maybe I'll go across the top first. Oh, that's a good idea. And then what? Can I go all the way down? No, that's stupid. That's unnecessary. But across the top is a good idea. But then how am I going to get it to wrap after? Maybe I'll leave this and put this on the top after. Let me try. If I go around like this, then when I wrap it, it's going to come off, right? Yeah, it will. Okay. I'm going to actually start wrapping from the bottom then. We need you. And I definitely need you guys. Because this is going to be fun. I'm going to wrap over from the top across the back. So I'll put a drop of glue back here. Yeah, that's not going to work because, you know, gravity. Okay, you're fine. Everybody's fine. So just curl under. We'll hold that in place for a second. These finger protectors are great. They'd be even better if I could remember to keep using them properly. But the little times that I do remember, great. Okay, I think that should be fine. I'm going to start just wrapping. I'm going to wrap right over it, and we'll clean up whatever doesn't look good after. Of course, I can keep adding glue, a little touch on each side. I'm not going to really do that just because I'm probably going to take this apart at some point. So I'm just making my life harder if I do that. But by all means, putting a drop of glue on the frame on each side as you go is perfectly acceptable. I'm probably going to do that for the next one. Right here. One little drop there. One little drop there. Oh, dude, come on. Okay, so we are definitely at the top here. This is that spot. So I'm going to push this down a little bit, make sure it stays in place. We'll give that a minute to latch, which it basically has. Okay, what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to fold it. Over like that. That could work. I just got to make sure I put a lot of glue across that bar across the top here. So let's go ahead and do that. Try not to burn me, Ari. This is a group project from all of my fingers. Everybody work together. Yeah, I'm not loving the way that looks. We'll see how it turns out. We'll give it a minute. The patience that you need to have when you're working with thick jute rope is beyond what I expected, if I'm being honest, because it's so thick. To make sure that it catches properly, you definitely have to have a little bit of patience. Okay, now I'm going to curve one more time this way, and then we're going to cut it. I think I'm going to cut it now. We'll cut it right here. Let's see. See, but that looks so good, doesn't it? Totally worth it. Annoying, but worth it. So we're going to do the same thing right here. So we're going to cut it right about there. And hope we can get a somewhat unfrayed end. I'm going to go ahead. Oh. We're just going to put one row of glue right here. We'll bend that over. Again, a finger that is not wearing a finger protector is heavily involved in this situation right now. Come on, guys. I'm going to smush that together. Smush, 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 smush. I think I'm going to cut this little piece off, though. It's sticking out on the side. All right. I think we did it. Beauty. All right. Let me trim off that end real quick. And then we'll tidy up a wee bit. And we're going to make our bow next. And then we're ready to put everything together, which is my favorite part. Geez, please make this as hard as possible. Lord. All right. We did it. It looks fantastic. I'm going to trim these guys off because they're just blowing in the wind, helping nobody. All right. We got our frame Dunsky. So let me clean up a little bit. Get this out of here. Because it's bow making time. How are we doing? Oh, you're down to 1. Okay. I'll deal with you in un moment. So I'm going to skedaddle this out of here. We did a great job on it. Move this off to the side. Let it dry a little more, although I think it's fully dry at this point. And give this a little wipe down. And then we're going to talk bundle bow, which, as I mentioned earlier, is one of the simpler bows that I found and that I really like making because it's a really fun bow. Okay. First, let me change my battery real quick so that we are ready. All right. So the messy bow breakdown. So for the main part of the bow, we're going to need one piece of each ribbon that we have, and we're going to cut it to 16 inches in length, which is quite long. It's the length of this mat. I'm hoping that it's going to cascade down. At least that's the plan. If not, I'll trim it down a little bit more if I feel like it's too long after. And then for the knot of our bow, we're going to need one more piece, just one of any piece of ribbon we like, and that's going to wrap around the center to give us the knot. So this is super simple. We're literally just going to cut every single piece to 16 inches, and that's it. So I have got a whole bunch of different ribbons over here that I want to use for this. I think I have like 9 or 10 or 11. I don't even remember. Where did my brown ribbon go? We have some escapees. Oh, here you are. Hiding beneath all of the pumpkin. Okay. I think I'm going to start with this beigey one. I really like this. Let's talk a little bit about ribbon while we start cutting these because we have a little bit of time to kill as we cut. I like to pick up my ribbon from lots of different places, particularly anything that's on sale is I'm a fan, you know. But this particular ribbon I got from Kirkland. It is a Costco ribbon. Costco has fantastic ribbon, like great quality, almost always wire edged, which is a big yes, please, when it comes to making bows or ribbon bundles or anything like that. Having a wired edge on your ribbon is, in my opinion, imperative in order for you to have a lovely, big, poofy, like loop on your bow or ribbon bundle for whatever purpose you're doing ribbon bundles. So wired edge is really good. And Costco's ribbon is excellent quality, as I said. And it's always a steal. Oh, did I not cut this long enough? Why does that one seem so much longer? I gotta see. Is it an optic illusion? It's totally an optic illusion. Wow, that's funny. Vertically, it seemed like it was so much longer. So anywho, yeah, I definitely recommend getting or checking Costco for ribbon. However, there's a couple stipulations to that. Number one, you're only going to get it at one time of year, and that's Christmas, which of course means that a lot of their ribbon is going to have a Christmas vibe to it. Not always, but you know, enough times that it's worth mentioning. And that whole big roll is $10, which is a total steal. Now, some of these other ones I got from Michael's Canada because sometimes I need a really specific ribbon, like a really specific color for a specific project. And I don't have time to wait and see if it's going to show up at the dollar store because the dollar store is very hit or miss. Sometimes you can find some gorgeous stuff at the dollar store. Actually, almost always it's beautiful. It's just that it's not guaranteed that when you go back, they're going to have the same thing. So if you find something at the dollar store that you like, pick it up immediately or you're going to regret it. It's absolutely one of those things. And so that means I can't be guaranteed that if I go looking for a white ribbon that I'm going to find one at the dollar store. But I am guaranteed if I go to Michael's or Joann's or whatever your local craft store is, you're in a much better position to find what you're looking for. Whereas with the dollar store, it's very hit or miss, and it's also very seasonal, which is not a bad thing. It's just something to be aware of. Wow, I've never used this ribbon. I've had it for so long, and it is super cordy. It is very good. Like, chill. Get it together. All right, how many more we got? So we've got a few that are the same size. Now, the key to this bow is you want a bunch of different ribbons that are all complementary to each other. So they all, you know, work together for the overall vibe of what you're trying to do. Oh, you're going to get on my nerves, right? Okay, cool. I'm just going to cut you then because we can't be friends. If you're going to get on my nerves, we can't be friends. And in a perfect world, you want different colors, if possible, different textures, and also, if possible, different sizes. You'll notice that all of these have a different width. I've got two that are about 2.5 inches, the pink and the white ones, and the beige on the bottom. They're 2.5 inches. And then we've got that black one and the polka dot burlap one that are probably 1.5 inches, and I have no idea what these are. An eighth, and I don't know. But they're little and they're cute. And they're just like the right kind of color palette I was going for. Like that whole burlap gold. See, this gold is really pretty. I actually got this ribbon from my mother-in-law. I got a few of these. This one, that brown one I was just using. See, we always remember when we get things from people we love, you know? It's always a nice way to think of them. So I like to dovetail the ends of my ribbons. I literally always do. You do not have to if you don't want to. I mean, I'm not going to come to your house. Unless you invite me and you have some chocolate, then I might. I would, I'm kind of surprised that I wasn't abducted as a child because I would be so easy to tempt. Like to into a trunk, just put a bunch of chocolate, put a sign that says free chocolate. And here comes Mary going, I heard there was some chocolate over here or something. This ribbon has, none of these small ribbons have any wire in them, of course. These are known to be wire free. With this little skinny pink. And then we're going to have to decide which is going to be the center of our wreath. Actually, we need to decide that right now. I'm kind of thinking pink, actually. Maybe this pink, or I don't think I want to do the polka dots. I think we're going to do pink. So let me get that pink back out here. I just need like a few inches, 4 inches. Is this 4 inches? It's more like 5. That's fine. And what we're going to do is fold this in half and glue it so that it's like that, basically. So let's do that quickly, actually, before we build out our bow any further. I actually don't need this anymore. This measuring device called a cutting board. Is it a cutting board? Measuring pad? Cutting pad? I don't know. It doesn't matter. It does not matter. Oh my God, my glue gun is so much lighter with this smaller battery on it. I almost flung it across the room because it's so light in comparison. Okay, so that's all we're trying to do is fold it over to make it smaller. If you already had a thin ribbon that you want it to be the center, then you wouldn't need to do this part, just to be clear. I could have used the gold at the center, but this is fine. It's gonna look great. Good. Okay, I'm gonna set this off to the side. We're gonna let it dry while we get the rest of our bow ready. So the only thing we're gonna do now is cut the edges into a dovetail. Again, this is not mandatory. If you don't like dovetails, don't worry about it. But I would recommend that you cut your ends some which way. Either if it's going to be just to make the ends flat and even, then by all means, go straight for a cut. If you want to cut at just an angle, so like just like this, you could totally do that. Whatever is your preference. I mean, it's your bow. But I always love the look of a dovetail end. That V to me looks finished. So that's usually how I roll with my ribbon and my bows and stuff. This black ribbon is trash. It is garbage. It does have a wired edge, but it's so flimsy. Such a flimsy ribbon, such a flimsy wire in it that it's like really hard to work with, actually. Which is why this is like the right kind of project for it, because it doesn't need a lot of, what's the word I want? Structure to the ribbons. I should maybe use my other pair of scissors for this. That's why these scissors have gone through a lot today. That rope was no joke. Okay. Let me try my other scissors and see if that's better. Oh, you almost fell on the floor. And then I would have forgot about you and I would have been so mad because the live would have ended. I will have finished my project and then I'll look on the floor and there's my pink ribbon and I would have been like, get out of here. What's your problem? Oh, I didn't actually talk about how to make a dovetail. So let me show you how to do that quickly. I know you've been watching me do it, but let's talk about it a little bit in case you're new to dovetails. What you want to do is take your ends and fold them towards you so that they're even with each other and fold it in half. And then you're going to take your scissors and cut at an angle. And the deeper the angle that you cut, the deeper the V is going to be. Now, I like a deep V, so I cut a deep angle. But if you don't like a deep V, then just don't go as far on an angle and you'll get a much thinner one or a much less shallow, a much more shallow one. A much more shallow one. There we got there. I'm also going to dovetail these little guys. I mean, they're a little annoying to dovetail, frankly, but I still think it just looks so cute. And it just, to me, gives it that polished end. And it also kind of avoids the fraying, right? Like sometimes these little ribbons tend to fray. And I've seen people who do this dovetail and then they use a lighter to kind of cauterize the edges of the ribbon. You could do that if you like. I've never really gotten a lot of fraying happen after I do a dovetail, as long as you're not messing around with it a lot. But I mean, if you're messing around with your tails, that's your business. Okay, we're almost done. I think I've got That little teeny tiny pink one, I don't know if I'm going to try to dovetail that. Maybe I'll try. That might be asking a bit much. But we'll see. I think I got all the other ones, right? Oh, no, this one's not done yet. This beautiful chocolate brown satin ribbon. So this is the most difficult part of making this bow. It's getting through the tedious cuts. If you find them tedious, I don't. I enjoy this kind of stuff, which is why I'm doing it. Okay, I think I'm going to try to make this one work too if I can. Can you fold? That's cute. It's so tiny. I'm just barely folding it enough. Yeah, this is kind of ridiculous. You don't need to do this. Boop. Okay, that one didn't even work. Okay, we got all of our little bits. Get them out of here. Scoot. Now, here is how you do the messy bow. You want to pick which widths first. So the ones with the biggest width, you want at the back of your wreath so that, of course, you can see the other ribbons on top. And you also want to think, what is the ribbon you want to see the most of? So the one I want to see the least of is this burgundy or this beige one. Wow, I'm really struggling with words. So that's going to be on the bottom. Then I'm going to crisscross it with this white one. So we're going to do a crisscross like that. Just a bit. I'm going to do the same thing with the pink. I want the pink on top, so I want it to be seen the most. Again, these are the thickest ones, so they'll still be visible even with the other ribbons on top of it. Then we're going to do medium sized. So what do you want on top? Do you want the black on top or the polka dots? I'm feeling like the polka dots on top. Now this wire is so tight that it's, look at it. Get it together. Let's see if I can make you stay. So we'll do the black on the bottom, and then we'll put our polka dots on top. I wish I had something else I could put there. Then we've got these four, which are the same size. So which one do we want on top? I'm thinking I want white on the bottom. No, that's too close, see? So now we're going to switch. I'm going to put this way so that you're going to get on my last nerve. You know what? The last time I made a bow like this, I had a ribbon that was unruly like this too. And we fought, and I did not win that fight. And I have a suspicion I'm not going to win this fight either, but I'm going to try my darndest. Oh, that went pretty well. Okay, so I said I want this on the bottom, but I don't want it over the white. So now you're going to have to not be on the bottom. So what are we going to put underneath you? Maybe the brown? Let's do the brown. Oh, you can't even see that. No, so it's going to have to be gold. Gold. Then we'll do the white. Then we'll do, should I do brown here or brown here? I'm thinking here. Oh, there's like a piece of something nasty on there. So we'll flip it over. And then this one on top like that. Okay. So now we're going to do, oh, I almost forgot about you. Now we're going to do, yeah, you know, I just realized I've been crisscrossing and I haven't done anything on this bottom one, which I didn't think of. So I think I'm going to uncross for a second. Hold on. We're going to go back to here because this is 3. It's because this beige one on the bottom is completely camouflaged by my tabletop, and I totally lost sight of it. I forgot it was there. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. We're going to continue. Okay, so with that in mind, across, I think I'm going to do this one. But then that means I only have black to go across. I'm looking around me right now and in my craft room to see if I have any other ribbon I want to use. But I don't actually. Well, I could use this one. I have this beigey one. But for what purpose? To cross over here? But they're not the same size. There's no point. Let's not bother. Okay, so now maybe what I'll do instead is we'll do white. So we've got the white that way, the white this way. Okay, that's good. Now what are we going to do down the center? Should we do the gold? I think that looks cool. Or do we want to do the brown? I feel like you lose the brown. I feel like the brown needs to go here. So then maybe we'll go you down the center like this. So we got all of our patterns right down the center. I don't know if I like that actually. No, I don't think I do. So let's go. Oh, stay where you are. Let's go gold over here. Oh no, gold this way. Gold this way. Then we'll go brown this way, because that's a lot of contrast. And then we'll go you this way. No, but then nobody went that way. Okay, then you're going to go this way. Okay, and then this down this way in the center. Okay, I'm happy with that. That's a nice bunch of variety. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to take my pipe cleaner. This is a long pipe cleaner. They're called Chanel stems if you find them at the dollar store, but I am a child of the 80s. These are pipe cleaners. And basically all we're going to do is really simple. We're going to bend it right in the center. And then we are going to gather up our ribbon right here in the middle and place that pipe cleaner right in the center there. And we're going to flip them up and make sure we're as close to center as we can be. And here's how you would know. You can see if there's anyone that's sticking out. That polka dot one's a little bit longer on one side than the other, but I don't really care. It's not like noticeably different. So we're going to do a few twists on the back. And open this up and look at that. Isn't that pretty? Now, what's going to take this over the top, what's going to make it really look gorgeous, is we're going to twist you sideways, is that piece of ribbon that we got ready earlier, right? We've got all kinds of little pieces hanging out. So what we're going to do is just wrap it around, flip this over, and we're going to add a drop of glue right on top of that pipe cleaner. Right there. And we're going to go ahead and fold that over. And we're going to hold that in place for a few seconds to give the hot glue a chance to adhere. And this is like, to me, this is the simplest bow ever. And it gives you something that the other types of bows that I make don't. Usually when I make other bows, they're either all of the same ribbon or like maybe 2 or 3 ribbons, but they're the same size. So they're all 2.5 inches or they're all 1.5 inches. This is the only bow that I make that has such a difference in colors, textures, like just all of the things. It's like an explosion, a riot of ribbons, and I love it. I just love the way it turns out. Oh, careful, I put a little bit too much glue. Put a bit too much glue, which is unfortunate because I don't want the glue to come to the front. If it does, I'm going to wrap this a second time. But really all you're doing is making sure that they adhere. And that's it. So you can see that I didn't need as much of a long piece of ribbon as I cut. That's always the case. I prefer to have more and not need it, which is usually my rule in general. I'd rather have more and not need it than need it and not have it. That's usually the Mary rule. All right, we are officially in the home stretch. It is time to put it all together. So once I'm comfortable that this bow is going to keep itself together, it's time to bust out all the pieces. We're going to add them all together, and then we're going to start adding some embellishments. Okay, I think you're fine. So now let's have a look at this bow. Look how cute that turned out. Look how cute that turned out. Love it. Different textures, different materials, different colors. Gorgeous. Nice and long. Now, if you don't want it this long, of course, just cut your ribbons shorter. Easily adaptable, easily customizable. So let's put you off to the side. And it's time to put all these guys together. And then we're going to add, I think, some flowers. I have some flowers waiting off to the side. So we made our foam board back with these really cute polka dot burlap material that I got from Dollarama. I'm still so happy. They have a lot of them, actually. It's not just this polka dot. They also had another one that was kind of like had a white design on it, which was really pretty, but $5. So I only spent on the polka dot because I was not about to spend $10 on burlap today. Well, it wasn't even today. It was a while ago. But okay, so now what we're going to do is glue this down as quickly as possible. I'm basically just going to put glue all around this frame and then slap this on top and then flip it over. That's my plan. Let's hope that plan works out. Do I still have... I mean, I don't have enough parchment paper to cover my whole desk with this, so we're going to just have to deal. How can I keep you upright like this? Let's see. I'm going to put something underneath the stem. That should work. Okay. All right. We are going to try to move quickly because same deal as when we were putting the burlap or the jute rope around the edges and all of the spokes of this base. We're only using a small line of glue, which means it can dry very quickly. Okay, quick like a bunny. Okay, you skedaddle. And we're going to flipperoo. How did we do? Not bad. I could have been happier with a little bit more of a upward scoot. No, that's good. That's great. Oh my God, it adhered so quickly. A little bit of glue got on my table. Not bad. I thought there'd be way more glue than that, but I was hustling. Every day I'm hustling. Look how good that turned out. Yippee! Oh, that looks so cute. All right. Let's go ahead and add in our bow. I'm going to just tie it around the stalk. That's why we kept these pipe cleaners in place. I'm going to just give it a couple of, you know what, let me flip you over. A couple of good twists. Of course, if you don't want to attach this using the pipe cleaners, you don't have to. You could just glue it down from the knot. That would work just as well. But I prefer tying it on. Cool. So cute. So cute. Okay. Now we've got flowers because that's what I'm planning on doing with this one. Some flowers. So we've got, let me show you what I got going on. I've got some really pretty, I have a whole bunch of different stuff. I like went through all of my faux flowers, which I know sounds odd. Like who has a lot of faux flowers? Well, I do. Me, Mary, me. Yeah, I'm the one. I have literal bins of them. I have a very patient and loving husband. That is for sure. All right, we've got some daisies. We've got some white carnations. I think these are considered sunflowers, but they're taupey sunflowers, not the traditional yellow. And I've also got some pink in case I want to add a little bit of pink in here. So we need to decide how we're going to do this. Part of me was thinking I would put one of these pink flowers in the center of our bow. Like that. That's seriously pink though. Like that's a pink statement. Now, I might not do anything on the bow. I kind of like the bow just as it is. But no, I don't like that. No me gusta. What else do we got? Is there any that I do like that would look good there? How about you? No, I just think it's too much. Thinking no pink up there. I think the ribbon's going to be our only pink for now. I really like these. These are super pretty. I don't know what they are. What are you? Blush fall floral foliage. Okay, so they are nothing. They're not modeled after an actual proper flower in nature. Well, that one's cuter. I definitely like that better than the pink. Or we could do this. What are you? You're also a sunflower. But this is like a neutral sunflower. Oh, I like that. Okay, I think you're the one. I like that it's not a bright yellow sunflower. It really works with the color palette we got going on. Okay, so you're going to stay there. Now, down across the bottom, I want to put a few flowers. I'm thinking like a bunch. What other colors do I have? What do I have over here? I've got some leaves too. I mean, they're light leaves, so they could work. But I don't even know where I would put them. Well, let's see. Some carnations. We'll do like 3. Okay. Then I don't want to do any more sunflowers because I don't want them to compete with each other unless I put one right at the center at the bottom. Let's see how I feel about that. I did a kind of version of this, but with tiny daisies before, and I love the way this looks. So I might do it again. Very similar. What do you think? Huh. I think that's cute. But I had a completely different idea for down here. I was thinking I was going to put like a whole bunch of flowers down here, not just 3. Let's leave them in place for now and see what would happen if we tuck in a few of these flowers. Maybe we'll bring them a little closer. Well, then I don't want 3 of these. If we're going to do that, no me gusta. I'm definitely not pink. I feel like that these pink are just really crazy. These pink are like, look at me, I'm very pink. I wanted to add the pink for a little, to break up all of that neutral. Maybe down in the center. Let's see, take you guys out. I'm not feeling any of these light guys. Nah. You know what? We're going to go back to what we started with, which is this. I kind of like the way that looks. Yeah, I think so. All right, everybody skedaddle. What about these little guys? Oh, you don't want to come off, huh? Okay, I'll cut you. Sorry, I don't mean to be so violent, but blame yourself. No, competing. All right, you guys skedaddle. Thanks for coming out. You too. We're going to keep this nice and simple, it looks like. All right, let's do it. So anytime you're working with faux flowers like these faux flowers were picked up from the Dollar Tree or Dollarama. That's where I get them always. What you want to do is to make it easier to glue things down, you're going to want to try to cut off the nubbin that's on the end over here. But you don't want to go too close to the bottom, because that nubbin is what's keeping all of these petals together. So you do want to get a little closer so that it's more of a flat level surface for you, but not so close that they're flush with each other, because then the flower is going to start coming apart, which you really don't want, I'm sure. So a little word to the wise. I want to see where you are. That's perfect. Give that a second to adhere. We're almost done, guys. Then we've got one last thing to do, which is we're going to add some jute to the back of this so we can hang it. Because I'm going to hang this on my front door because it's pretty. I think I want it higher up so that it's like really spread out and really visible instead of like too far on the bottom. Yeah, I like that. Well, thank you for joining me. We're going to continue completing this, but if you're new to wreath making, and this is one of the first tutorials you've seen of mine, I hope that something that you take away from this is that I'm constantly adjusting and changing my plan as I go, which I think makes wreath making less intimidating, because you know that there's so many ways to get where you want to go. And what you find attractive, maybe somebody else doesn't. So you really got to tap into your inner likes when you're making something. I want to say the first 10 or 15 wreaths that I made, I kept thinking, what will somebody else think? Would they like this? Would somebody else like that? And I found it so much harder to make a wreath when I was so concerned about what other people were going to think of it. And then one day I just kind of went, well, what do I think looks good? And basically the sky has been the limit since, because if you don't like the way it looks, why are you doing it? Why are you making it? You know what I mean? You can do whatever you want. It's your wreath. You don't like the sunflowers? Don't put the sunflowers. You think the pink looks stupid? Pick another color. Don't put any color. Stay neutral, whatever you like. I like the length of these ribbons for this messy bow today. This is longer of a messy bow than I've ever made before, but I like that. I really wanted this like riot of ribbons to kind of explode off the top, but you can still see the stem above the top of our flower, which is really cute. I love it. All right. I think these guys are glued down enough that I can flip this over now. And we're just going to do a quick jute hanger. So I'm going to show you how I do that. A little bit of jute rope. I got this from the dollar store. You can find it in the craft aisle, of course, but this is like from the utilities aisle or something, you know, where they have like flashlights and light bulbs and some tools and stuff. That's a great place to get it from as well. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over. Something just fell, but it was a little nubbin from the flower. Now you have a couple of options. Option one is to make a hanger that kind of goes across like a loop. So you would glue it on either side and then loop that loop over the hook from your door. If you have one of those over the door hooks, then you would slide that in here. So that's option number one. But I think the option I'm going to go with is actually like a slip knot. So what I'm going to do is cut myself a piece of this jute. And I'll show you what I mean. So we're going to take this piece of jute. We're going to go end to end. Okay. And then fold that in half. And now I'm going to take the ends that are together and I'm going to wrap them around my index finger like so. And that makes a loop around my finger. Then we're going to slide that loop off the finger and take those ends and tuck them through the loop we just made. And then slide that knot down towards the ends. I call this a slip knot. I guarantee you that's not what it's called, but that's what I call it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it so that it sits under or in relation to my stem. So this is way longer than it needs to be. I'm actually going to make another loop because I made this too long. And we'll make it a bit shorter. Big enough that it can go over that hanger. Man, the hand gestures I make are so ridiculous half the time. That was hanger, in case you missed it. Oh yeah, I think these scissors are done. They're tired. Okay, so I'm going to place something under here to level this out a little bit. And then all I'm going to do is make a pool of glue right here, right in the center of my stem. I don't know if you can see how much this is bubbling up because remember, hot glue on foam always causes a very dramatic reaction. Now, another tool that I use in almost every crafting, a toothpick. I use toothpicks for all of the crafts that I do on this channel. I use them for candle making. I use them for dot painting. And as you can see, also wreath making. Super easy, convenient tools that you can get from your dollar store that you would never think would be considered a tool, a toothpick. Okay, so that's going to go ahead and dry fairly quickly. Now, usually I like to go back over anything that I've hot glued and add hot glue over top of it as well to kind of encase it, especially this situation where the knot is in the glue. That's pretty substantial. And I want to make sure that it's going to hold on to it really well. Also, keeping in mind how heavy your wreath is when you're making your hanger or deciding how to hang it. If this wreath was heavier, instead what I would have done is put some holes through the foam board and then looped my jute cord through that to make sure that it can be held up on the door. But this is quite light, so there shouldn't be any issue with that. I'm just giving this a couple more seconds to dry so that it doesn't drip when I flip it over. And another little sip of water for the continually yammering Mary. Let's just clean up a little bit. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to show you, but I'm not going to actually do it. I will literally go boop, 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 right on top and encase that in a basic, you know, hot glue knot, I guess, if such a thing exists. But I think we are good to go for right now. This is going to stay on for the time being before I go and put that extra bit of hot glue on top. All right. Are you ready for our final reveal of the Rustic Burlap pumpkin wreath? Here we go. Beep, 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 beep. Yeah, that came out beautiful. I love it. Very rustic, very festive, very fall. That turned out great. I really enjoyed making this wreath with you. I'm going to walk through the steps with you really quickly now before we wrap up for the day, because I always like to talk about where we started and where we ended. We made this back piece of the pumpkin out of foam board. I just traced around the frame and cut it out. And then using some Mod Podge, we glued on this polka dot burlap material that I got from Dollarama for $5. And it was a huge piece, huge. Then using this pumpkin wire frame wreath, we added some jute rope all the way across each of these different sections and wire frame. And we went all the way around as well. And then we made ourselves a really simple, beginner-friendly, highly textured, messy bow that we put up at the top here with these nice long tails that we fishtailed as well. And then we added some of these really neutral, almost creamy sunflowers. And it just came out gorgeous. What do you think? I think this was a beautiful, fun project. I really enjoyed making it. We made it with all materials from the dollar store. And I'm going to go ahead and put this up on my front door. I hope you enjoyed making this with me today. I will be back making another wreath on Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. And then the following Saturday at 2 p.m. I will be making wreaths both of those days going forward until Christmas, really. I have a bunch of projects set up for the coming months. Lots of fun things to come. A bunch more of these pumpkin wreaths as well. So stay tuned for that. I have a ton of beginner-friendly tutorials on my channel. So if you're interested in learning more about wreath making, check out my channel. Tons in this format, this, step-by-step live replay kind of format, and a whole bunch that are like 5, 10, 15 minutes long. If you don't have a lot of time to kill, but you want a little creative inspiration, check those out. Lots of fun projects here at the IHC Craft Room, and we're going to keep making them. So keep coming back. I had a blast today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, if you could hit that like button, it really does help me out. Consider sharing this with a friend who might be interested in learning a little bit about wreath making. And don't forget to subscribe so that we can continue to get crafty together. Toodaloo!